Good evening.
Thank you, Dominic. Let's call to order tonight's village regular session of the Village Council, Monday, October 4th, 2021. We have a pledge of allegiance, if y'all would, please. We have a flag with us tonight. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We'll take a moment of silence here. Mr. Mallory, would you please do roll call?
Yes, sir. Roll call for October 4th, 2021 Village Council meeting. Trustee Merrill.
Here.
Trustee Holmes.
Here.
Trustee Reister.
Here.
Trustee Wagner.
Here.
Trustee Olson.
Here.
President Frisbee.
Here.
Trustee Keller is excused.
We have an agenda in front of us for this evening. Has everyone had an opportunity to look at it, review it? Is there any comments or questions? I do want to make a note that on item 11B, under updated DPW engineering drawings needed, that staff recommendation should be up with the paving the way under 10A. Item 11B, under staff recommendation, that is to go under 10A, under paving the way to sustainability grant. Is there any additions, Mr. Mallory, or corrections other than?
No, just that, sir.
What is the council's pleasure?
Motion to approve the agenda.
I'll support.
Motion by trustee Merrill, supported by trustee Wagner. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. So we have an agenda in front of us. And we have a scheduled appearance tonight. Mr. Bill Hunt. Bill, thank you. Thank you for coming out tonight. If I may, I want to read something that Trustee Keller couldn't be here tonight, but he wanted to make it explicit and asked us to go to record. This is from Mr. Carl Keller. I want to extend my heartfelt congratulations and appreciation to Bill Hunt on his stepping down from his position on the Vicksburg Planning Commission. During my time on the commission as a member and later a chairperson, I could always count on Bill's calm village knowledge and perspective. It's unbelievable that Bill has given nearly 60 years to the betterment of this community. Bill, again, thank you from everyone in the village and a job well done. So I would like to make a quick statement. We'd like to take this time to celebrate Mr. Bill Hunt. One cannot call out all that he has done and the people he has touched. In this limited time, we will try. Bill is one of those that you meet early in your life and you'll never forget. He was a co-owner of Shell gas station on Prairie Street. The building is gone, but our memories live on. Later, he owned the Citgo gas station that is now Fred's Pharmacy. I recall as a kid climbing on the giant airplane tire that was between the gas station and Clark Park. And later on in my school years, the gas station was a starting point for all ventures, all things, good and bad. That or the tasty phrase. Somehow Mom and Dad always knew what we were up to, though. If you could explain that to me sometime. He has touched so many people over the years. While serving on the ambulance from 1963 to 1979, he was a volunteer fireman, assistant chief from 1964 to 1982, the Rotary Club from 1965 to 1979, and the JCs from 1962 to 1969. Bill retired from the Upjohn Company in 1996, but not before receiving the prestigious Upjohn Award in 1995. He's delivered Christmas baskets for South County as well as the Metro Drive. He was a driver for the Wednesday Winners. He's helped Generous Hands pick up food deliveries from Loaves and Fishes. Bill just retired last month in the Vicksburg Village Planning Commission, and I assume now to take on the role of the supervisor for the Village Boys. Words cannot express our thanks for all you've given to this community, for the time you've shared with us. What Bill Hunt has done for this community has not gone unnoticed, or no, shall it be forgotten. If you ever had the question inside, what can I do to help my town be a better place? Just ask Bill Hunt and you'll get the right answer. Thank you, Bill, for all you've done.
Bill, if you can come up here, please, and if it's okay, next to most successful men is the reason behind it, and that is their wife. So if Sue can come up here as well, or if it, and we can move that chair right up here if that. And that's perfect. Oh, we can use this whole comfortable one here if you feel better right there. There we go, right up front. There you go. We know who's kept Bill out of trouble all these years. And as President Frisbee said, let it will be forever known the service Mr. Hunt has provided the village, and especially village staff. Spent many times soliciting Bill's input on different things the last 5 years, and always appreciative. More importantly, on behalf of my wife Stephanie and I, neighbors for about 20 years, and an absolutely fantastic neighbor to have. My lawnmower blades have never been as sharp. So, but resolution 10042-021-01 shall record for the history of the village of Vicksburg a resolution recognizing the distinguished service of Mr. Bill Hunt. Whereas Bill Hunt has diligently served the village of Vicksburg and South County residents for the past 58 years. And whereas Bill Hunt first began serving the village of Vicksburg and South County residents in 1963 as a volunteer fireman. And whereas Bill Hunt was a member of the Vicksburg Fire Department from 1963 through 1982 and rose to the rank of assistant fire chief. And whereas Bill Hunt was instrumental in being a volunteer who assisted with moving the belongings of the old hospital on Main Street to the new hospital on Boulevard in 1969. And whereas Bill Hunt has served as a member of the Village of Vicksburg Planning Commission and DDA over the past 12 years, and whereas Bill Hunt has made himself available for consultation to village staff, village politicians, and residents on numerous occasions over the past 50 years, and whereas Bill Hunt established strong relationships across local organizations and municipalities, now, therefore, it be resolved, the Village of Vicksburg Council does hereby extend to Mr. Bill Hunt its sincere thanks and appreciation for his selfless dedication to the Village of Vicksburg and its residents. Certified on today's date as acting clerk of the Village of Vicksburg, Jim Mallory, October 4th, 2021. And I'd ask Village President Frisbee to ask for a motion to certify this resolution that's been read into the record, have it seconded, and then a voice vote of council members present.
Well, I'd be honored to ask for a motion.
I'd like to make that motion. I move that we approve resolution 10042-021-01, a resolution recognizing the distinguished service of Mr. Bill Hunt.
And Julie Merrill's support team. Thank you.
Supported by trustee Reister.
At this
Support-
time, you can also ask council members for any comments before their roll call vote.
Yes, indeed. Ms. Merrill?
I was gonna say, Bill, I had no idea you did all that stuff. I knew some of it, but it's like amazing, your career of helping Vicksburg, and your inspiration to us all. You're one of the good guys. Thank you.
I would like to say too, Bill, that whenever I asked for your help as far as being a volunteer, you were always there along with Sue. And that is very much appreciated by people who have to find volunteers. So thank you so much for all of that.
You're more than welcome. Glad to have to do what I done.
And Bill, thank you.
Quit.
I remember the times where when I was still really new in town and you'd even come over to just introduce yourself and help me get to know people around the village. And I mean, that was instrumental in me getting to where I am today. So I really appreciate it.
Nice.
Bill, I appreciate everything you've done for the village, and every time I see you and Sue's not with you, I worry about her, because you two are, joined at the hip, so, and hopefully you will for a long, long time. Thank you both very much.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you very much. You know what? There's not too many good guys left anymore, but you remind us what we all aspire to be. That's why we do what we do. It's people like you and others in the community that are examples of what these people up here are trying to be. You inspire all of us, so thank you very, very much.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, I'll let you say a few words, Mr. Hunt, but this is for Sue. Here's for Sue, and that's from the village council and members of the planning commission and village staff. So, thank you. But you're more than happy to say it.
Don't know what to
We
say.
have the room until next week. So,
No, just thanks for all the turnout and everything that everybody has done here. I just wish I could keep on going longer yet, but things have changed in the last few months, but we're still going to be here. Got a lot of things to do yet, and thanks to everybody here for coming, and everybody except one guy in the back there.
thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yes. So that's yours, and there's 4 other copies for the family.
Oh,
and that, so.
wow, great. Thank you very much.
Yep, thank you. And to the family,
everybody.
I think I speak on behalf of the council and President Frisbee. We understand you're more than happy to stay for the entire, what's anticipated to be a 4-hour meeting. But if you wish to be excused, that's fine as well. So, and we. Tim, do you have a problem? John's a longtime plan. Did you have anything to say? We should have. Okay. All right, and we certainly appreciate John coming down here in support of Bill. So.
Yeah, all right. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Yeah, thank you.
We need to take a roll call vote to support the petition, the resolution for Mr. Hunt. So we had a motion. And
Correct,
we had a second.
Motion by trustee Reister, supported by trustee Merrill. Roll call vote, trustee Merrill.
Yes.
Trustee Holmes.
Yes.
Trustee Reister.
Yes.
Trustee Wagner.
Yes.
Trustee Olson.
Yes.
President Frisbee.
Yes.
Resolution passes and will be entered into the record.
Thank you, Jim. That is the enjoyable part about this job.
Yeah.
So we have no public officials on the agenda for tonight. Seeing none, we have citizens' comments. If anyone would like to make a comment to the council this time, somebody? I see none. So we have the general consent agenda. We have the minutes from the regular council meeting September 20th, warrant reports totaling $402,630.52. We have the Soderquist graduation party, Historic Village, and John Steers emails for record. If everyone had any opportunity to read it, review it, any questions or comments or corrections?
Just a few minor corrections. Peterson, as discussed at the meeting, just need a few E's put back into the minutes.
Okay. And I do have one comment on 9E on an update. I received an email this afternoon from Mr. Steers appreciating the village of Vicksburg, and he has rescinded his FOIA's request that came last week, which are highlighted in item 9E. They, and he and I communicated that that email from today will be placed into the October 18th council record.
Thank you, Jim. And good news. Item 10, Village Council action items. We have paving the way to sustainability grant. I'll let Mr. Mallory discuss that a little further.
Tim, point of order, do we need to approve the agenda?
Oh, yes, general consent agenda.
I make a motion that we approve the general consent agenda as presented.
Trustee Wagner, as support.
Moved by trustee Holmes, supported by trustee Wagner.
Be a roll call vote as it has a warrant
Yes.
reports on it. Trustee Olson.
Yes.
Trustee Wagner.
Yes.
Trustee Reister.
Yes.
Trustee Holmes.
Yes.
Trustee Merrill.
Yes.
President Frisbee.
Yes.
General consent agenda passes.
Trustee Wagner, appreciate that. Item 10, Village Council action items.
Mike, please.
Paving the way to sustainability grant.
Yeah,
I'll let you discuss it further, Jim, please.
as we work our way through this first really in-person meeting. Yes, it has. I must have got too comfortable in my living room there. But this also highlights, I think, for myself and you know, the community that we all are privileged to serve. We obviously have had an infrastructure project that was initiated and by turning dirt in late March and has continued presently, and our entire the majority of downtown, especially Main and Prairie Streets, have Prairie Street has been infrastructure has been put in the ground now 3 times over. The sewer went first, be it that it was the lowest, and then storm and water to follow, and the impact that had on our business community. The Vicksburg Foundation approached myself, and we began talking about ways that we could impact or help some of these businesses out. And this is a Vicksburg Foundation grant that totals $56,000 of aid and assistance to businesses. after the council approved the process, last week we distributed via email electronically as well as following up 2 businesses that were along the route of the infrastructure. We also created a criteria that identified the length of impact, meaning the length of time that a road might have been impassable, impact of parking restrictions.
We're on the air.
Humbly, I've never heard my voice sound so good. But on the businesses, the length that the construction impacted them, impacted by restrictions of parking, as well as we created a form that the businesses, that was sent electronically to the businesses, that they filled out, providing a percentage impact on prior years that this has had. And met with multiple business owners on this opportunity. And it should be noted, multiple of businesses spoke very favorably how well their business has done during this time, much like when we had an opportunity in COVID and had businesses eligible. They just wanted to make sure that the total amount of money would be distributed to those truly in need. So in the criteria we came up with 4 levels, $1,000, $2,000, $3,250, or $4,500 for the businesses. 20 businesses submitted grants, and in using that criteria, there were 5 businesses identified that fit the assistance of $4,500, 6 businesses that fit the $3,250, 4 businesses that fit $2,000, and 6 businesses that fit the $1,000 mark. And I think I said 20, but that's 21 different businesses impacted by this. And what's in front of the council tonight is approval for the village manager to distribute those checks to the businesses, which will be cut this week and delivered on October 11th to help them out. So where it is staff's recommendation that a motion be made to support and approve the village manager to administer the Paving the Way to Sustainability grant opportunity created by the Vicksburg Foundation for these 21 businesses.
Does anyone have anything they'd like to add?
I'd just like to say that I think this is another example of a town that really cares about each other, and I think that the businesses that said that they really didn't need the money and wanted it to go to the other businesses was really remarkable, and a lot of times you wouldn't find that happening, so I'm really proud of our village for that.
I just had to do a little quick math to make sure we did distribute all 56,000, and I'm glad to see that we did. So really fortunate that all the businesses who applied were able to take advantage of that grant.
I have something from Carl Keller that he asked to put into the meeting minutes. He would like to thank the Village Foundation along with our village staff, especially our village manager, Jim Mallory, and Director of Community Engagement, Alex Lee. Thank you for being so proactive and working with our local businesses during this construction project. This is the largest infrastructure project that Vicksburg has seen in possibly the last 75 years. And with all the current issues occurring in the world, it has definitely more of a challenge than anyone would have thought. This shows how public and private partnerships can work to help support the public good. Even though I am not in person to vote, I want to voice my full support in approving this grant. And I do believe we're all of the same mindset, and if there's any other discussion, no further discussion, I'll entertain a motion.
President Frisbee, I will make that motion to approve the Paving the Way to Sustainability Grant.
Trustee Olson, I'll second.
Motion by trustee Wagner, seconded by trustee Olson. We'll do a roll call vote, please.
The roll call vote. Trustee Reister.
Yes.
Trustee Holmes.
Yes.
Trustee Wagner.
Yes.
Trustee Merrill.
Yes.
Trustee Olson.
Yes.
President Frisbee.
Yes. Motion passes. And thank you, Jim. And thank you to the Village Vicksburg Foundation. Just goes to show what Bill Hunt's precedent has set with the rest of the community, right? It wears off. So we thank everyone for the village and for being here and being part of this great community. And if I can remember where I was at.
DPW next.
Yes, we have Mr. Manager's report.
Yeah, on the update to the infrastructure project, I think one thing also to highlight, and this highlight is really emphasizing the village of Vicksburg, but there are communities that aren't that far away, similar to our size, that are involved in projects involving infrastructure, and inside that project are assessments being assessed. So when we first started looking at this project in 2017 and working on, and there was multiple approvals from different councils through these past years, never once was that on the table to assess businesses due to the new sidewalks, new infrastructure, new leads, whether all of them have new water leads and sewer laterals. We bore that responsibility within the project in moving forward. So I think that's a positive thing as well for downtown. And it's, as a staff, I have daily contact with multiple businesses in town Monday through Friday, and on this project, I'm always impressed with how patient and understanding businesses are, and we're every Tuesday when we meet internally as a team with the contractor and engineers involved. I was just talking to the superintendent last Friday that's running this project. And he made the comment, he's done this 42 years of his life and has never been in a community that, like Vicksburg, that is so positive and understanding to the point that businesses went in and put out buckets of water for construction workers to get anytime they want. So it really, really highlights it. And internally as well, we're focused. We know what it's going to look like, and we have rounded third base downtown. You'll see a flurry of activity here in the next 3 weeks. If we can get some cooperation with the weather, today was postponed till tomorrow, but it's all weather dependent to put a first layer of asphalt from Clark Park to Main Street. Basically, if you were down there, it's all prepped and ready to go. The compression rates are ready. The curbs have been put the black tar on it. Just need weather to cooperate. We will not authorize asphalt to be put down if a moisture level's at a certain content, because we know that'll cause problems in the future. So hopefully we'll get a couple days of clear weather. So both from Clark Park to Main Street and from Pearl Street, or in front of the middle school entrance to Richardson, we're confident we'll have its first layer of asphalt this week, which will keep dust down and go quite a bit. By the end of October, the finished product of retaining walls and steps will be in at Clark Park, a section of the boardwalk replaced. It will not be stained until next spring. Again, we'll let that cure over the winter, and They're going to stain the, I'll call it the observation deck, and the new wood that goes in to make these steps, retaining walls, and the boardwalk that was rotting out. On a side note, we're also going to be staining next spring with that same company the Historic Village Pavilion, to get that stained. But focusing on the infrastructure project, they have started, we authorized them to begin today on Washington Street. We do anticipate that Washington, the project will get to Michigan Avenue on Washington before winter arrives, and then we'll halt the project at that point, because we do not want one of the roads to go without asphalt through the winter. It just wouldn't be good overall. But we are confident that that sewer and water work that will have to be done downtown will be completed in time.
The Washington Street you're talking about from South Michigan to Main Street? Is that the portion?
Correct.
Thank you.
Correct. In our village road work that we have that ties into the existing road work is still on schedule to be done when it's completed downtown. So we'll take Prairie Street from Boulevard to the village limits, Kalamazoo from Washington, Kalamazoo and Main Street in Michigan from Washington up to the project. We'll have all new road work as well. Right now, Wednesday, the concrete company is scheduled to come back in town to prep the curbs, to have the curb machine back before the end of the week. And they're hoping, again, weather dependent, that from Kalamazoo to Main Street on Prairie will be prepped enough to get the curb outlines in, and definitely within the next 2 weeks. The fire protection lines, the last one was being put in on Prairie Street today, and then that's, if you've been on Main Street, where there's about 4 temporary fencing around, those should be done on Main Street this week. And then all of Prairie and all of Main is reconstruction work back to the final product. So it's going well. We are still on a tabletop exercise ahead of the schedule we thought we'd be at. So I'll pause there and answer any questions that.
Mr. Mallory, I know that you're talking about staining the deck and staining the pavilion again. We need to take a serious look at staining the fence at the post office too. It's recommended that within a year after it's been installed, it should be stained to keep it from warping. So we should probably get a quote on that also.
If the council wishes, we can look into that. Any other questions on the infrastructure?
How many people did partake of the fire suppression line, the water line for fire uses, fire suppression?
Just counting them up in my head.
Just curious.
I believe it was 14 different buildings will be protected. One of the things we've noticed downtown is the records that the village has reference water service, and the size of water service going into some building does not match our billing records. So once we pause for the winter, internally as a staff, we'll be recalibrating the downtown REUs and size of lines that we now know are into buildings and what's serviced in the buildings. On the fire protection side, a decision was made that there would not be a base rate charge for that because of the investment that would be required in the buildings. But the buildings will be 101, 103 Prairie Street, Frederick's Construction, the Dollar General, the optometry, on Main Street would be the old community center, Wrapped in Gratitude, Oopsie Daisy, the event center at I believe it's 107, but Vicksburg Land Bank owns that. The Three Hills buildings, the hardware store, Distant Whistle, and Edward Jones.
Good, good.
So it was easier to say them than count. I lost my place twice.
Jim, I'm just curious, as far as the social district's concerned, is there any projected time frame? Is it this year, or are we probably looking in the spring before we would approach that?
No, as soon as we're looking, right, as soon as downtown's back, and certainly before Christmas in the village.
I had heard that the Senate, Michigan Senate's taking up extending this social district. Remember, we only had it approved till the year 24, and they're talking about making it indefinite. So if that's the case, and as we develop it, we'll have to readdress that ourselves.
I can share with you that we were in Saugatuck this weekend, and again, I saw their social district earlier this year, and we watched it a little bit closer when we were there, and it's really interesting how they developed it, and I think they branded it, and even their signs have that little code on it. I forgot what it's called.
Code.
Yeah,
Right.
and it gives you more information, so it's really interesting to see how other communities have adopted it. And as I said before, it's not a alcohol infused, event. It's simply people just being casual and socializing with one another.
Absolutely. So when all of our permanent signs that certainly have been ordered might even be already have the QR code that links them to our website and pages that have all the menus for the businesses that are within the social district, the five partnering businesses. So it is an economic tool. I believe we're only one of 2 social districts in Kalamazoo County. And I think it will fit well with what we have going.
I'm really excited about Oswalt Park because I think that's going to make a huge, huge difference downtown. Right now, that park is unusable.
Right.
And so that, I can see where the social districting will just take off because of that park. It's going to be lovely. It can hardly wait.
On that note, the park, probably by the end of the week, but once we receive checks, will be north of $65,000 fundraised with some, I think, 11 days to go. So we have secured the Vicksburg Foundation with $50,000 of investment from them and $50,000 from the state of Michigan as well. So that project's definitely moving forward and going to go out to bid prior to the next council meeting. We won't open those bids until November. It's a 30-day bid process.
So Jim, based on the previous dollar amounts expected for that project, it sounds like it's now $0 general fund. That's all crowdsourced and grant.
Correct. We had identified, so we would not be using any tax money, and we've exceeded some of our goals in that area, so.
That's fantastic. Well done.
Thank you. We say that, we haven't opened the bids yet. So.
Crossing our fingers and toes.
Yeah, right.
Jim, just out of curiosity, what's the anticipated time frame for that again to be constructed?
We've put in the bid documents that to have it completed the Thursday prior to the car show. I just don't have that date to memory. But we want it fully done and usable when the car show comes.
The car show is always the second weekend in June.
Yep. Yeah, and it's that, whatever that date is of that Thursday, and one of the things is 2022 is the 150th anniversary year for the village of Vicksburg. So Alex has his crew right now working on the Christmas in the Village event, but also a long-term vision of, we have our downtown, we've made this investment in it to get people in our downtown. It coincides with the 150 years of Vicksburg. So it's our expectation that we'll be having an event downtown each month of 2022, May through October. We fully anticipate to bring the food trucks back down once a month, in addition to a true event, community event. So.
You have an update on the DPW building?
Yeah, it's certainly like to talk more about finances, and I received the financial statement of the village today, going back to the last audit, but I'm not a builder and I'm not a general contractor. It's been frustrating. We did award that contract to the low bid operation. Very frustrated in communication, lack of a response. I do know it's right now I'm told that the company is in the process of securing the engineering drawings. That is what's needed for the building permit review process. I had, and to Chris Hamilton's credit, and I said, we will, we're gonna get building permits and have it reviewed with those engineering drawings. Randy Skippers has secured, our biggest thing is we have 270 tons of salt that the road commission graciously stored for us, but they need that space available, and they mix their salt with a sand mixture, and we elect not to in the village. So we're going to bring those 270 tons back, and they'll be stored with tarps both underneath the salt and over the salt. I'm told that the building will be, once they get on site, it's prepped and ready to go, but once they get on site, within 3 weeks, they'll have the building up and ready to pour concrete on it. The concrete's poured after. So we're still moving forward, but there has been some frustration with some of the delays in that.
Several delays.
Yeah, I spent some time last week, 2 days, up in Grand Rapids meeting municipal managers throughout the state of Michigan, and had very interesting conversations with the city of Portage manager who worked on some graduate work with back in the day. But they have, and the state allows it, I've talked to Steve Breyer, he doesn't have a concern with it, but they've gone and entered into an agreement to have a company represent them as a project manager, much like the Vicksburg schools do. And then within that company is responsible to ensure, like subcontractors, that work's all bid out. They would present to staff and the council, if necessary, that whole process and available. So I'm moving down that road to learn more about that program and what options and the different constructions that we potentially have, including a village hall in the future years, that in early stages I anticipate putting that recommendation in front of the village council to move to that, much like we've outsourced other services, whether it be payroll, Siegfried Crandall, Pry Newhoff with the engineering, that it's like, my analogy is, we all might go to our family doctor for a physical, but if we're going to have heart surgery, I'd rather have a heart surgeon do it. And when we get into these more complex endeavors, to have those companies that truly that is their backbone and what their specialty is, to be able to bring them on board, and they can handle the headaches, if you will.
Do you see it a benefit to do this now with the DPW building?
I not right now. I'm taking the gentleman at his word in our last communication that the engineering drawings will be completed and that project will be moving forward. It just really highlighted for me, and of course we picked to do this in a year that we're also tearing up all of downtown. So just juggling everything, but no, more specifically, I'm not there yet.
All right. If we can help in that, we shall, because this is, I know in my business, that's what you need first, right? You need a plan, and if it takes this long to get the plan.
Yeah, we provided $81,000 as a down payment. It's a $370,000 project, and part of that was to have and that was on July 7th, I believe, and to have those plans completed was part of that, as well as the purchase the needed materials and everything. But like I said, I'll take the gentleman at his word, and hopefully that we'll be moving forward here relatively quick.
Thank you, Jim. And we also have an open planning commission. We have a member just recently retired, Mr. Bill Hunt. Just get this out there if anybody wants to take up and where Bill's leaving off. Donate their time and their efforts and their talents to the Village of Vicksburg, where you can pick up a application at the Village Hall, or you can find one on their webpage. But I highly encourage all of us to step up and take Mr. Hunt's lead in how to donate your time and efforts and make this place, this community, a better place to live. So we'll gladly entertain that. We'd like to appoint somebody to that before the end of the year. So we look for all and any and all volunteers.
I did have one additional comment. It was on beginning the next meeting. I started to review, and as part of the village manager's report, kind of a 5-year, 4-year, 3-year, 2-year, and 1-year at a glance highlight. It's interesting. I started to go back to 2016 to look at the recorded minutes and some of the movement on council decisions that were made, and now we're seeing some of that fruits of that labor and decisions. And I think from my standpoint, it is good to point out that roadmap, especially in today's era of social media and some of the misinformation that again was going out this weekend on different topics, just to remind the direction the village has charted and this council has charted by policy, and staff trying to carry that out. So we're going to do that at each meeting as kind of a reflective where we were, where we are, and where we intend to be in the future. So.
That's a great idea, Jim. Thank you. So we had some committees meet in the last couple of weeks. We'll start with any update on the tree committee?
Yeah, we have some, thank you. We have, I'm putting together, unfortunately I've been extremely busy with 2 different things that I've been involved with right now, so I've had to set the tree committee aside a little bit. But we're going to get together on October 23rd to go out in a couple of teams to look over the village, to look over the streets, to look to see what kind of trees are there, if they're trees that need to come down, where do we need trees, that kind of thing. So we've got kind of maps placed out, and so we are going to be working on that on October 23rd, which is a Saturday.
Thank you, Gail. Mm-hmm. The fire committee.
As you all know, last weekend they burnt the motel on US 131. A couple of the local departments dropped out on the training, but Pavilion Township and Phoebus out of Three Rivers both came in, and Chief said today everything went well. In the last 276 days, our fire department has gone out on 898 calls. That's just over 3 calls per day. In the last month, the worst one was a head-on crash at YZ Avenue and US 131. There was a northbound car in the southbound lane. So obviously, MDOT's got to take notice of that. This is the second bad accident in that area in the last year. I also talked to Chief McMillan today. Channel 22 out of Indiana popped up with a story that we've got a serial arsonist working the Michigan-Indiana state line, and he's burning barns. So with the 2 recent structure fires we've had in the area, it may not affect us, but I at least wanted the chief to know about it because we may get a call someday to respond to that area, especially for St. Joe County. That's it for the fire report. If you want me to, I'll do cats.
If you would, please.
Yeah. You all might know that we had September 18th and 19th, the bike rally, Bike Friendly Kalamazoo Bike Club had their big event here in Vicksburg. Their attendance was up 24% over the last one they had. They raised about $15,000 with that event. Bike Week is May 7th through the 14th next year. They have $8,000 in grants. They're going to hand out bike light giveaway. I believe it's the flashing red lights that they have, and I love them things. Boy, you can see them things a mile away. Also, Marty Jensen said that they're going to be coming around to talk to all of us. He already had 3 appointments last week. They're going to be talking to us about the millage that's coming up for the Transit Authority. And that will be a 0.324% millage, which is down from the 0.345 millage. So I guess that's pretty much it. There was a short meeting.
All right, thank you, Trustee Olson.
Thank you.
South County, I don't believe, I think Carl's not here we'll get caught up on that next meeting. Well, we've kind of blown right through this, so it leaves us to the trustees' time. Trustee Merrill, any?
I was just gonna say with the planning
Turn
commission,
it-
we're gonna be missing.
I think you just turned yourself off.
Yeah, okay. Bill, we're gonna be missing you, but Bill Brumleby too. He used to serve with you, and he's passed, and my condolences to Pat Brumleby as well, and guess that's it. Yeah.
Trustee Holmes?
I'm good. Thank you.
Trustee Olson?
Bill, thank you once again. You're a prime example of what we all should be. My dad was the same way. My dad felt it was necessary to give back to a country that was so great to live in with the rights and that we have. Gail may mention it, but this weekend is the Vicksburg book sale at the library, and I'm going to go down and help Gail set that up tomorrow. Yeah, in the last week, and especially today, I got 2 phone calls today of charities asking for help. One of them has 45 volunteers, and only 2 showed up for a recent event. That's pretty sad. I know COVID is scaring everybody in this and that, but at some point, we have to try and work through it. But I've had to move my schedule back. What I was going to do tomorrow, I have to now do on Thursday, because I have appointments in Charlotte and Lansing. They're reaching out that far to me just to get extra help. Why they can't get it out of their own community, I don't know, but I've known these people for years, and if they make the phone call, I'm willing to come. So, Bill, I wish there were more people like you. You and Sue both. Love you guys. Thank you very much.
Trustee Wagner?
Tough to say what's already been said, but Bill, Sue, thank you so much. I know we'll see you around, and you're not stopping just because you're not on the commission anymore, but we'll be seeing you around. Other than that, I don't have anything else this evening.
Trustee Reister?
Well, we can't say it enough. The times that both of you have helped me out. when I've been looking for volunteers. And every time I go through my list and your names aren't there anymore, it makes me feel really sad, because I always could depend on you. And that's one of the things I wanted to say. I've just been involved with the Harvest Festival and getting volunteers for that, and now for the book sale this week. And I have to say that I made calls and people said yes. This community is amazing in being willing to help. And so we're very, very lucky to be living in this particular community. Thank you.
Wow, agreed. Everything that everybody said tonight. And thank you for acknowledging Mr. Brumley tonight. I was at his viewing yesterday, and there was a picture of him holding up his village trustee sign, and I never saw such a big smile on a man's face. So he was my neighbor and a friend, so we'll miss him. Mr. Hunt, Sue Hunt, thank you very much. We look forward to seeing you for a long time to come, but I know it's time that the village does take up a lot of time, and we appreciate all that you've devoted to this community. And like Gail said, and we've all said, it's been huge. This community has benefited from people like yourselves, and thank you very much. And with that, unless there's any other comments or words, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
I second one thing, Jim.
Sir, yes, sir.
I just want to thank everybody. I did not thank my family. My family is unbelievable.
Yes.
I think everybody knows it. They are tremendous help to me all these years, and this one here especially. But the girls are great, and son-in-laws, everybody, my family, grandchildren are always around to help me out, and the people here in the village, one back there that I didn't know about. He is a great young man.
Oh, he just said, he just said you were a great young man.
I thought he was talking about the officer.
Dominic, did those words pick up about his family on the recording?
I believe so.
Good. We want them to hear that. They do have a lot to do with it, I know, keeping you going all these years. So with that, I'll make a motion to, somebody made a motion, I'll take roll call. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed can sit here by themselves. Good evening. Oh, hey, no, where it's too late, isn't it? Hey, any of you want to help the village score more points in YouTube, please sign up to our Village of Vicksburg government YouTube page. If we get 100 subscribers, it helps us get more benefits and more association, so we get more freebies to help promote the village. So if you're into that kind of thing, sign up.
Yep, if you go to the channel, subscribe button, and that'll sign you up to get the alerts from the channel. And I did it just this afternoon. It's that easy.
Encourage all the
On our website and Facebook page, directions Alex put how to do it.
thank you all for tonight. Thank you.